Alright, let's dive right in. For years, the world of K-pop has operated on a delicate, often unspoken agreement between idols and their fans, a balance between public image and private life. But what happens when that balance is seemingly disrupted? Not by a bombshell confirmation, but by a relentless drip feed of whispers, coincidences, and speculation that pushes a fandom to its breaking point. This isn't a story about a confirmed relationship. In fact, as of now, there is no official story at all from the agencies involved. This is the story of a modern rumor, one that began quietly in a concert hall and slowly, over 2 years, evolved into a firestorm of analysis, accusation, and emotional fallout, centered on two of K-pop's biggest stars, BTS Jungkook and aespa's Winter. It all seems to trace back to a single night in March 2023. The setting was a Harry Styles concert in Seoul, a common gathering place for idols. Jungkook attended with his BTS bandmates and staff, while Winter was there with her own team. On the surface, it was nothing, but the devil, as they say, was in the details, or more specifically, in the seating chart. Once clips circulated online, fans zeroed in on the arrangement. Winter was seated remarkably close to the BTS section, with only the group's translator, Nicole, physically between her and Jungkook. In the grainy footage, some believed they saw interactions, a few words exchanged with the translator, a possible signal before leaving. The initial reaction was mostly dismissal. Wasn't this just idols existing in the same space? Yet, for a small group of netizens, a seed was planted. The speculation machine, once activated, began looking for patterns everywhere. What followed was a classic case of connective tissue being built from fragments. When Jungkook released his 7 music video months later, fans pounced on a scene where his character gives sunflowers to a love interest. Winter had once mentioned sunflowers were her favorite flower. Connection made. There was talk of matching phone cases, though that fizzled when people remembered Winter's group had a brand collaboration. Fans scoured social media for similar poses, cryptic captions, any digital breadcrumb that could be linked. Most of it was fragile, easily debunked, but the rumor refused to die. It gained its first substantial, albeit subjective, fuel in March of 2024. Jungkook, on a military leave day, attended an aespa concert. While BTS members showing support for fellow artists wasn't new, eyewitness accounts from the venue claimed his demeanor shifted during Winter's solo stage, leaning forward, appearing more focused. Clips online were dissected to support these claims. This wasn't a distant coincidence anymore. It was observed behavior. The rumor truly entered a new phase of intensity after Jungkook's military discharge in June 2024. The celebration live stream with Jimin, where they ate pizza from a brand aespa endorsed, felt charged to some fans who noted quiet glances and laughter. When Winter posted photos from the same pizza chain later that day, the speculation exploded. Then came the focus on gear. Jungkook's new custom gold in-ear monitors, a departure from his previous BTS-themed set, were compared to Winter's rose gold pair. Were they subtly matching? Supporters called it a sweet hint. Skeptics noted his album was called Golden, and the color choices were standard. The analysis became microscopic. A plushie in his bag was compared to aespa merchandise. A seemingly innocent live stream from Winter on the very day of his discharge, where she sang a famous Descendants of the Sun soundtrack song. A tune often associated with military couples, was retroactively framed as a coded celebration. But the moment that transformed online chatter into a full-blown media narrative was the tattoo. The catalyst that pushed the speculation into overdrive arrived with the release of the reality series Are You Sure? In its second season. Featuring Jimin and Jungkook, a sharp-eyed viewer posted a screenshot on Nate Pan pointing out what appeared to be a new tattoo on Jungkook's arm, 3 small dog faces. The internet erupted. Winter had been spotted with a strikingly similar tattoo in the same placement. That single post ignited the rumor into mainstream discourse, rapidly climbing to thousands of engagements as the online debate reached a fever pitch. This was no longer about sunflowers or pizza. This was permanent ink. Reactions split dramatically. Some saw it as undeniable, shocking proof. Matching tattoos before marriage? That's next level. Most couples don't even go that far. One comment read. Others rushed to debunk, suggesting it was a band-aid, a temporary sticker, or a common design. But the visual was powerful. For a significant portion of the audience, this was the most concrete evidence yet. The rumor ecosystem expanded further. An anonymous netizen claimed to have seen the pair at a dimly lit bar multiple times since his discharge. Unverifiable, but consumed eagerly. Old evidence was recompiled. Similar bracelets, shorts, and shirts were juxtaposed in collages, though many were quickly challenged as common items or old merchandise. The silence from the agencies HYBE and SM Entertainment became a character in the story itself. In K-pop culture, no comment is often interpreted as more telling than a denial. When HYBE stated they were looking into the matter on December 5th without further clarification, it only deepened the mystery for many. The public reaction became a fascinating study in cultural divides. On Korean platforms like Naver and YouTube, the conversation had a specific edge. While many commenters supported their right to date, a strong undercurrent of criticism focused on the perceived visibility of the hints, especially the tattoo. The critique wasn't primarily about romance, it was about professionalism and discretion. There was a palpable frustration. If this was real, why be so careless? Fans felt a sense of betrayal, not that he might be dating, but that he might be flaunting it while relying on fan support. The backlash Karina faced for her confirmed relationship earlier in the year loomed large in these discussions, with people wondering why Winter's situation seemed to be handled differently. International spaces like Reddit and Twitter presented a different front. Here, the dominant narrative was often about privacy and the toxicity of speculation. Let them date was a common refrain, coupled with frustration at the invasion of privacy and the tenuous nature of the proof. Conspiracy theories also flourished, with some suggesting the rumor cycle was a media distraction from corporate or political news. On snark forums, the dynamic turned meta, with Jungkook being framed as careless and the fandom's Army and My pitted against each other. But perhaps the most raw reactions came from segments of the long-time, deeply invested Korean fandom. On platforms like Weverse, sentiments of heartbreak and panic emerged. For these fans, the issue was framed as a culmination of things, not just a tattoo, but a perceived pattern of changing behavior, a distance forming, a breakdown of the sincere communication they felt defined earlier years. Their anguish stemmed from the feeling that the bedrock of trust they had built over the years was now fracturing. The upcoming BTS comeback was viewed with anxiety, a make-or-break moment to restore that connection. Their pain was less about jealousy and more about a profound sense of cultural and emotional dislocation, feeling that the artist-fan contract they had bought into for a decade was being rewritten without them. This entire saga is a perfect storm of modern fandom. It's fueled by the hyper-analytical nature of social media where every pixel is evidence. It highlights the clash between traditional Korean idol fan expectations, built on a sense of intimate reciprocal loyalty, and a more global, boundary-driven perspective that treats idols as autonomous adults. The agency's strategic silence speaks to the impossible tightrope they walk. Any statement can be weaponized. This rumor wasn't sparked by a dispatch photo, but by a collective detective story written by the internet itself. It shows how narratives are built piece by piece in the court of public opinion, with or without official facts. As of now, the story has no ending. The rumors are neither confirmed nor denied. The only certainty is the noise, the analysis, and the emotional investment it has laid bare, a revealing look at the powerful and often painful dynamics at the heart of celebrity culture today. What do you think? Is this a story about a relationship, or is it a larger story about what we demand from the celebrities we admire? Let me know your thoughts below.